Hi everyone, so in this video I'm going to talk about our new task manager app and workflow called Trello. So Trello looks like this, and I recommend downloading the desktop and the mobile app, and I'll link to those in the description because it's going to be just a little bit easier to use than the online platform. So the first thing that I'd like to note is that there are several lists here, and you can have an unlimited amount of lists, and it's basically set up in a workflow type of timeline. So anything that is currently in the process of being done goes in this doing list. Anything that we want to do goes in this to-do list. Anything that we want to do but that isn't super pressing can go in this later list, and then anything that is done can go in this done list. And it's super easy to move things around to these different lists. All you do is basically click and drag. So if this task had been done, I would click it and drag it to the done part of the list. Okay, so I'm going to take you through what it would look like to create a card. These little tasks are all called cards, and these are the fronts of the cards, and then it has a bunch of information on the back of the card if you click the card. So say I wanted to create a to-do for myself to back up all of our Dropbox data. So I would add the card by clicking add card at the bottom of the to-do list. I would put back up all Dropbox data. Then I would click enter to save the card. Then I'm going to click on the card so that I can get to the back of it so that I can access some more information. So I'm going to assign myself to this card by clicking members and then clicking on my name. And it's super helpful if everyone can upload a picture of themselves. That way I can easily assign tasks and we can see who's working on what. So I'm going to assign myself to the task. You can also assign multiple people to tasks that you're collaborating on together. And then I'm going to add a label, and this is just a general lab task, so I'm going to add the general label. You can also have multiple labels, and it's going to be really important to add a member and a label to all of the cards in Trello for reasons that you'll see later when we filter this information. Okay, so I'm going to do that. You're also able to add due dates for this. So say that I wanted to make sure that I remember to back up all the Dropbox data when I get to the lab on Monday. I'm going to add Monday the 13th there, click save. I can add a time as well. Perhaps I want to do it right when I get there in the morning. So I'm going to click save. And you can see that there's a checkbox here, and there's a due date. Okay. And I can see here that it's the card has been created and the due date is there, and I'm assigned to that task. Okay, this next part is going to be super important for using Trello on a day-to-day basis. So I think the best way for our lab to use this right now is for everybody to be on this one task board so that we can collaborate really easily and see what people are doing really easily in a very simple format and a simple one place. So this next step is going to be super important though when you're working in your day-to-day so that you can see what needs to be done and what tasks are assigned to you. So there's a really great filtering features on Trello. So you're going to click here, show menu, search cards, and then say I want to look at all the tasks that I am assigned to, all the cards that I'm assigned to in Trello. I'm going to click this, and right now it's filtering by this. You can add as many filters as you want. So say I wanted to look at the tasks that I am assigned to that are specifically pertaining to the MBB study. I would click those two filters, and then when I exit this out, you can see that this search criteria are still being applied to this list. So I could focus completely for the next few hours on these tasks, only seeing the tasks that apply to me and that are for this specific study. Okay, another good thing about, and then if I want to clear that so I can see everyone's information, I just click X there. So another really useful thing is that you can also filter by due date. So say I wanted to see what's due in the next week, which might be really important for what I'm gonna focus on. I could click my name and due in the next week, exit out of that, and then I would only see the information, the cards that are due, that I have selected as due in the next week. So this could be really important things. Okay, another really good feature is that you can assign different people to different tasks. So I'm going to train Alyssa in the DBS collection and the lab session. So I created this card, I added Alyssa as a member, and if this was something we were collaborating on, I could also add myself, but since this is kind of something that I'm going to be training Alyssa on, or other members of the team are going to be training her on, I thought that it would be better just to have her as the member of this task. And then one good thing that I can do is I can click watch. So when I click watch, any updates to this task, I'm going to get a notification about. So I have said on the comments, and it's really nice for these tasks because you can write comments if you have any questions, and you can mention people on the team, and we can see those messages and collaborate and answer questions. So I've asked Alyssa, let's meet at some point to discuss this training. And then if I'm watching this card, I'll get a notification for this information. And I won't get notifications on other people's cards that I'm not watching, so that keeps everything pretty streamlined. Cool, okay. Another thing is, say we want to archive one of these cards. Let's say that this OSF, we decided we're not going to do that anymore, and so we want to archive it. We want to get rid of it. So I'm going to click archive, and then it goes away from the main screen. The way that you get that back is you click show menu, you go back here, you click more, archived items, and here it is. And say I want to delete it forever, I will click delete here. But if I want to move it back, say I did this by accident, I want to move it back to the board, then I'm going to click send back to board, and it moves back over there. So that's the way you archive and delete. Okay, so there's also some really nice features, like the due dates. So I really like the due dates because I think this is a really good way to prioritize what you need to do. So for these later items, I probably wouldn't add a due date, and I would kind of get to these as I go along. But say that, okay, so this item, reorganizing the budget, is pretty important, so I want to add a due date for the end of next week, because I hope to get that done by the end of next week. And then I would probably go through all of the items here that are assigned to me in my everyday workflow, and I would assign all of the items in this list a due date in kind of the order of priority. Maybe not everything, but the things that I really need to focus on soon or in the next couple of weeks, I would assign a due date. And then it's really nice because you can even sort this list by due date, and everything with a due date and the first due dates will come up first. So that really allows you to see what needs to be done most urgently and prioritize those things. Okay, so another nice feature is the notifications. So right here, you will see that you'll get notifications about things that have due dates, about mentions, about comments, about activity on the cards that you are a member of or that you're following. So the timesheet I forgot to submit was due 11 hours ago, and I always forget to submit that on time, but hopefully they can still process it. So this is really nice because it will come up here, and if you click this little button here, it marks this is red, but I'm going to leave this here because I still need to do this, so I'm going to leave that in my notifications, and you can kind of clear it out like a little notification inbox type of thing. Okay, so that's really nice. Another nice feature of this is that you can create checklists within the cards, so this is really good if you have an item that's more complicated. So for instance, I'm trying to create these training videos for a bunch of different tasks in the lab, and this is kind of an ongoing task, and I've done a few already. This is the one I'm making right now, and let's say that I want to add one more. So I want to add one about budgeting. So I would add that to that, and then that kind of allows you to track progress in a multi-step task across time while keeping it in this doing list. Okay, so another thing that is good that I kind of already mentioned is the ability to comment and discuss things on these cards. So I created a card for social media, and I'm just going to also show you how you can search for cards. Say I created a card for social media, but I wasn't sure exactly where it was. I could click search and click there. So say I want to ask all the RAs who might be interested in doing social media for the lab and creating biome bites and brain bites and other things like that. So I'm first going to add all of the undergrad RAs to this card. And you can see here, this is why it will be super helpful to have photos, because I can just easily click through it. And then I'm going to say, who might be interested in creating social media content for the lab using Instagram, Twitter, etc. And then I'm going to save that. And when you make a comment, it automatically watches the card, which is pretty nice as well. Okay, so I assigned that to everyone and I commented on it. And it's nice that you can see that this card has a comment on it there as well. Okay, one other super useful feature of this Trello app is that you can actually have personal boards. And so I'll quickly show you the team. So this is our team page on Trello. It just has a little about. It has members. It has settings. We can even link it with Slack if we want to. It's private, and those are the boards that we have. So on the free plan, we get 10 boards in the team, which hopefully will be enough to last us for a while. And then you actually get an unlimited number of team members, which is really nice. So everybody can have their own account, which I think will really help with tracking progress and accountability. And then also you can have an unlimited amount of personal boards, which I think is really nice. So this is my personal board, and this is just kind of a more not organized list of things that I am thinking about or that I want to kind of translate into a more actionable task. So I have created a bunch of different lists for myself, from like research ideas to things I need to get receipts and reimbursements for, things that I want to find out about, things I want to do for RedCap. And these are kind of just the beginnings of lists of things that I want to kind of formalize, or just quick things that I just want to do very quickly and I don't really need to make a full task for that. And so I think this is a really good way to just build good habits around creating systems and protocols for yourself with the lab work that will really help you stay on top of things that you need to do, organize your thinking and your planning, and also just stay on track of everything. And also a really good thing about this is that, say that these cards I kind of formalized one and I wanted to move it to the task list, you can actually do that really easily. So say I wanted to move this order cryovials card to the task list and assign someone to it. So it's really easy to do that. I would just click move, and I would click board, and I would click tasks, and then I would click to do, And that will just automatically put it at the bottom, but it doesn't really matter because you can always drag it later. And then I would click move, and that automatically moves this card to that board. So it's really good for kind of taking you through all the stages of planning to actually executing these tasks. And just one final thing I'd like to mention is sometimes the save function can be a little bit weird, so kind of just give it a second when you're updating anything, and make sure you click save if there's a save button. So yeah, okay, let me know if you have any questions, and I hope this was helpful.